I see there's a new bed.
Yes.
Hello everyone, I'm making this video because as I was watching the latest Witcher anime on Netflix, I was contacted by a modder who had made his own tribute to Essi Daven and her story from the Witcher books, and naturally I thought I should have a look at it after reviewing Sirens of the Deep. So here we are. The mod in question is called A Small Tribute to Essi Daven, and it's a brand new storyline involving many familiar characters such as Triss, Yen, Dandelion, and even Gaunter O'Dimm. And unlike the winner of the modding contest, which I covered a couple of videos ago, this mod uses primarily AI-generated voice.
I can give you a brief description, but it won't be enough to formally identify it.
And I must say, I've got mixed feelings about it. Most of the time it sort of works, but then someone would call Geralt Geralt or something like that, and it really breaks my immersion.
Hello, Geralt.
Geralt.
But I'll tell you more about it as we go through the quests. I should also mention that this mod was originally written in one of the world's most mysterious languages, French. And so the English version may contain the occasional peculiarity. I'm hardly an expert, but I've actually provided the author of the mod with a fair amount of feedback on how I think the dialogue can be improved a little, and some of it is already in the most recent versions of the mod. And now that I mentioned the author, this mod was made by a gentleman called Lindroll. He was once told that he has the qualities of a strand of reed, because he bends but does not break. According to Google Translate at least, I cannot understand a single word of this, but you may know him as the man who voiced Ulfbjorn, the main character of the previous mod I covered.
Set me free, you elven bastard.
But without further lollygagging, let's get to the actual content. The installation is quite easy, simply place the mod and DLC folders into your own, and you're all set. Currently, you can play this mod at any time in the game, however the events of the storyline are meant to occur after both the main game and Hearts of Stone have been completed. You'll see why soon enough. Now, once the mod is installed and you load a save, you'll be greeted with this message. There are two options. One of them is to experience the mod organically, taking into account the choices and events of your current walkthrough, and the other is to manually set your variables. At first, it may seem like cheating, but it's actually quite handy, because the full version of the quest can only be played if Ciri survived the main game and if Gaunter O'Dimm took Olgierd's soul in Hearts of Stone. If either of these things did not occur in your playthrough, you'll miss out on 90% of the content. So if you're like me and enjoy watching Ciri suffer, or you always try to solve the riddle, you will probably want to tinker with the variables. This will let you set up the correct endings, as well as pick a romance. But fear not, these choices will not actually affect your playthrough, they are only taken into account during the new quest. For example, if you romanced Yen during the base game, but pick Triss here, you will still get visited by Yennefer at the end of Blood and Wine, and Triss will only be your love interest within this quest. So, once you've made your choices, you'll either get the quest immediately or after you've finished Hearts of Stone, and you can meet Dandelion along the road to Vizima in White Orchard.
Dandelion, what are you doing here, so far from Novigrad?
Hello, Geralt.
I suppose that your presence here is due to another one of your conquests.
Not really. Yes, it's for a lady, but not for what you think.
You intrigue me, Dandelion.
I want you to go with me to a special place, not far from here. I will tell you more when we get there.
I find you different from usual, and if you asked me to come with you, you must have a good reason.
Indeed, Geralt.
Very well. I follow you.
Let's go.
Why so much mystery?
You'll soon find out.
Will this walk last much longer?
We're close by. You see in the distance, it's Vizima. Some time ago, a smallpox epidemic has raged there.
Now there's a nice detail here if you haven't seen it. I've mentioned it in previous videos, but CDPR actually made a simplistic version of Vizima which can be observed from White Orchard in the distance. If you've seen my long video about the original story of the game, you should know that Mislav, was initially supposed to work there, and so on and so forth. But back to following Dandelion.
Here we are. It's here.
Here what?
Here where rests Essi. Do you remember Little Eye?
If we say that we don't remember her, the dialogue is longer. Dandelion will give us a bit of exposition about what happened in the books.
Sorry, but I don't remember. I guess it's due to my amnesia.
You met some years ago with Essi, when you and I went to Bremervord. She had genuine feelings for you, even though things were different on your end. The three of us went a little way together, then we separated. She kept, worn as a lucky talisman from you, the sky blue pearl that you said would bring her luck. I considered Poppet as my little sister. She was running after life, while death was on her heels. She was in Vizima at the time of the smallpox epidemic, and it took her away. I couldn't be able to bring myself to watch her body burning on the funeral pyres. So I buried her in this peaceful place, far from the city.
This is very sad news that you are telling me. I regret telling that her sky blue pearl would bring her luck.
No, Geralt.
She knew your words were a little sacrifice to make her feel better. And yet it was your sky blue pearl that gave her the courage to face her greatest fear, because a part of you accompanied her. Like her lute, she kept it with her until the end, and still carries it on her heart. Sometimes Essi comes back to life in my dreams, as if nothing had happened.
And if we say that we do remember her, he will not explain as much, but Geralt will have a few more words to say.
Yes, I remember. The memory of her came back to me rather quickly after my amnesia. I was not able to return to her the feelings she had for me, but it is certain that she affected me. She did not deserve this tragic fate.
Sometimes Essi comes back to life in my dreams, as if nothing had happened. Thank you, Geralt, for coming with me. I didn't have the courage to come alone, and I knew you would pass by. That's why I was waiting for you not far from here. In these moments, together we are stronger, even if we are no less sad. That is alone that we mourn, because we are alone when we feel. I'm going back to Novigrad. Do you come with me?
Having feelings is not my main strength. Nevertheless, I feel the need to collect myself here longer.
I understand. If where she is, Poppet sees us. She is most certainly happy to know you are here. See you soon, Geralt.
I'm sure you've already heard some of the issues I have with the AI voices. They sound fairly accurate, but suddenly a word or a phrase sounds really out of place, and it takes you out of the moment. So at this point, Geralt begins to meditate next to Essi's grave, and if you got the worst ending, or if you solved Gaunter O'Dimm's riddle, this is all you'll get. The quest will end right here. But if not, we get another objective, which sounds rather ominous.
You, here.
What an indelicate way to welcome an acquaintance.
Do you have anything to do with what happened to Essi?
Me? Have I ever had anything to do with someone's doom? Even a being like me can't be sure how things will turn out if left to their own devices. This poor girl could represent a different path for your destiny. This would have upset me, and I don't like to be upset. In this type of situation, it can happen that I give a helping hand to fate to make sure that it will not come to disturb my intentions.
You influence the fate of Essi for your simple intentions?
It's just a side effect. Since years I have plans for you. A witcher alongside a sorceress offers way more possibilities than a simple bard. My acts are simply guided by my interests.
I'll make you pay for this.
It's a challenge. I like challenges, but I'm of a different kind from the monsters you ox in your wanderings. You can't do anything against me.
I will find a way.
Don't exhaust yourself too much unnecessarily. I could still need your services. Don't worry, we'll meet again. But only when I'll decide.
And now you see why Gaunter O'Dimm had to take Olgier's soul, because otherwise we banish him and it would not make sense for him to reappear, especially so soon afterwards. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. On one hand, I love the way Gaunter appears. Geralt asks if he is involved, and he's like, "Who, me?" And the storm begins. I actually had to replay the cutscene just to see whether it was accidental or not, but it's not an accident, and I love it. Now, on the other hand, I'm not a big fan of the Gaunter O'Dimm is behind it explanation. And to a large extent, this is actually CD Projekt Red's fault. Back when Blood and Wine came out, it was revealed that Gaunter O'Dimm is behind the spoon-collecting monster, which I thought was good. It was subtle and fitting, and I liked it. But then, years later, Gaunter O'Dimm was secretly behind Dooney's curse as well.
Me, who with but a whisper can swell a wave. Start a chain of events with consequences momentous.
Dooney is of course Emir, and since his curse was a major part of the reason why he met Ciri's mother, and why Geralt got mixed up in the whole situation and ended up with Ciri as his surprise child, and of course later in the games Gaunter helped Geralt to find Yennefer, which is what allowed Geralt to find Ciri, and then once he found her, Gaunter himself told him how to keep her alive.
Tell me where to find Ciri, my
Adopted daughter, I know.
You know, by not selling her.
And never, ever let her feel as if you've sold her out.
And it basically seems like Gaunter O'Dimm is secretly behind the main plot of the games and the books, and it's just a bit too much for me. Now, the things Gaunter says here kind of make sense with all that I've just listed, but I'm still not a huge fan of it. So back to the story. Geralt is not happy with this and decides to seek the help of his beloved sorceress. If there is no beloved sorceress, we once again resort to Yennefer. And let's start with Triss.
I should ask Triss for advice on how to rid the world of this devilish being. She told me she had to go to Kaer. I should visit her.
She is staying at Kaer, and we go there to seek her counsel.
I didn't think you would join me. Would you be nostalgic for our time spent at Kaer?
It was an extraordinary period. Just like my future will be by your side. No, I'm not nostalgic. I live in the moment. And my present, just like my future, are by your side. I see there's a new bed.
Yes. Eskel was kind enough to install it for me. Do you like it?
I like it and gives me ideas, but it's another reason that brings me here. Some kind of demon caused the death of a dear friend to Dandelion and me. I would like to find a way to prevent this evil being from harming again.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to help you. They are too powerful beings for me. I must admit that the best person to help you is certainly Yennefer. Her knowledge of necromancy will probably come in handy.
Thanks, Triss. I'm going to visit Yen. I think she's still in Skellige. And don't worry, even if I go to visit Yennefer, my heart stays with you.
Mine too.
Don't dawdle on the way.
Go ask Yennefer for help, and get back to me.
So unfortunately we learn that Triss is weak and useless and she remains here to sleep with Eskel or whatever, and we're stuck with Yennefer. Meanwhile, she's just about to move from her room in Skellige, but we get there in time. And speaking of time, there's a wonderful little addition in this part of the quest. Yennefer can be found doing one of three things depending on the time of day. She can be asleep at night, doing her hair and makeup afterwards, and finally, going around her room.
Give me a minute and I'm yours. What a surprise. You are just in time. I was gathering my things for my departure from Skellige.
Before you leave, I'd like to ask for your help.
And what kind of help?
Help me to slay a demon.
A demon?
You are getting ambitious. I love this. But where does this crazy idea comes from?
This demon killed a dear friend of Dandelion and me, named Essi Daven.
I heard about her, but I didn't know you had been friends.
Dandelion and Essi were longtime friends.
I can't imagine Dandelion just being friends with a girl.
Yes, it's surprising, but Dandelion had a real brotherly love for her. I met her while helping Duke Agloval of Bremerward. I had given Essi a sky blue pearl.
Spare me the details of your encounter with that bard, please. Although I am a powerful sorceress, defeating a demon is beyond my skills. I prefer to develop my knowledge on other subjects than the extermination of demons.
If you see what I mean.
I can't guarantee I'll find a way to kill a demon. However, I should be able to tell you how to keep it from harming anybody for a few centuries. But for that I will need a little time to study the question. I will probably also have to go and get ancient books.
How can I help you?
I don't know much about demons, but necromancy is no stranger to me. Although I don't know exactly how to go about it yet. I think that we will need an object that would bind the deceased and you. That pearl that you gave her might be interesting. I have heard that the Duke of Bremerwood and his companion Sheenas are currently staying in Novigrad on the Temple Isle. It seems to me that this could be a good starting point to find out how to get your hands on one of these pearls.
So Yennefer comes up with a plan which involves finding another blue pearl. By the way, if you're curious about the original blue pearl, check the previous video. And also an ancient book. For the pearl, we need the help of Sheenas and Agloval. Those were of course the young lovers in the Netflix anime, who are currently sightseeing in Novigrad, and Margaritta's help for the book. She, on the other hand, is taking shelter in sunny Toussaint, which is another good reason to play this quest during Blood and Wine. As far as I can tell, it doesn't matter which one we choose to do first. Yennefer seems to like it better if we go for Margaritta, so that is what we'll do.
I'll go with you to find this book.
I was hoping you'd say that. I'm going to visit Margaritta. As former rectoress of Aretuza, she's in the best position to help us to find the appropriate book. Following recent events, she has retired to Toussaint. I guess you're ready, so I'll let you get there on your own. I'm not suggesting you teleport there, I know you hate it. What are you waiting for? Do you want to avenge that bard or not?
Yen won't wait for me through the night.
The view is magnificent, don't you think?
If we are with Triss or alone, we will take a moment to enjoy the view.
Yes, that's true.
Until we get rudely interrupted. But if we love Yen,
the view is magnificent, don't you think?
Geralt will take a good look at her instead.
I couldn't agree more.
And she gives him this smile at the end. It's a little bit cheesy, but it really works for me. Then we have some more banter on the way to Margarita.
Let's not hang around here. Let's join Margarita. What was this griffin doing here?
He must have been enjoying the view too.
I missed your sense of humor.
What's this whim to make me walk?
What do you mean?
Dandelion also asked me to follow him.
I hope that walking beside me is more pleasant for you. We can go faster if you like. Yes, yes, yes.
I never knew you were so fit.
I don't know if that's a compliment, but I might surprise you. Rita's in trouble.
Then there's a bit of fighting, and we finally reach Margarita, who is living in a rather picturesque location.
Rita,
Yana. Geralt.
are you all right?
I came here looking for some peace and quiet after what happened. And now bandits are attacking me. Will it never stop? But tell me, what brings you here?
Geralt asked me to help him face a powerful evil being.
What an idea!
This being is responsible for the death of a loved one.
I thought you might be able to recommend a book that could help.
Indeed. I've already been able to consult the book you're looking for. But I'm afraid this one is destroyed. The last time I saw it, it was in the hands of the witch hunters. There is still a tiny chance that it is among what remains of the Oxenfurt Academy.
All right, I'll get right on it.
I can give you a brief description, but it won't be enough to formally identify it. It's the last place I want to go back to. But for you, Geralt, I'll do it. I'll teleport and hide behind the statue in front of the Academy, out of sight. When you'll think you've found the book, meet me there so I can confirm it.
It's dangerous enough for a sorceress to travel to Oxenfurt. So too. I'll wait here for your return.
Another nice touch is how Yennefer is clearly upset that Margarita seems to be flirting with Geralt here, and there will be more of that later too. But for now, I would like to talk about Goetia, or Goitia, Goisha, however it's pronounced. I believe the term was first introduced in the Season of Storms book, and it is basically demonology. It's the magical practice that revolves around summoning demons from other worlds, usually in a sort of incorporeal form, and then binding them to beings of our world, controlling them and stuff like that. Goetia was actually supposed to play a major part of the original questline in the Devil's Pit, which, as most of you know, was cut from the game in the late stages of development. And currently, Goetia is sort of present in Hearts of Stone, you know, with Olgierd summoning 3 creatures, likely demons, and binding them to the forms of the cat, the dog, and the caretaker, but otherwise, demonology was pretty much dropped from the game. I will tell you more about it in my original story series, but for example, there were meant to be demonic beings as a monster type, there were decoctions and blade oils against them, and so on. And based on the way this quest was unfolding, I was fully expecting that Yen and Margarita would delve into demonology, and that's why they needed this book. There is a lot of potential to expand on what we see in Season of Storms, and I would have loved it, but unfortunately that's not the case here. Yen and Margarita never talk about Goetia or anything related to it. But back to the story. We go to the entrance of the closed academy in Oxenfurt, and among the piles of books, we find the one we're looking for.
Judging by the title, this is definitely not the right book. Nice cover, but it's not this one.
We can also discover Margarita hiding in the bushes even before we find the book.
Please hurry and find this book.
After which we get a rather amusing scene.
This one looks promising. I should show it to Margarita. I found this.
Let me have a look. In the bull's eye, this is the one.
But is it normal for the content to be illegible?
As you'd expect, this is a special book. Its contents will only be revealed by contact with a sacred, evil flame.
And where are we going to find it?
The flame of the Temple of Eternal Fire. As you approach the book, its contents will be revealed.
A sorceress! Catch her!
Run away. I'll hold them off.
Do as I tell you, then meet me behind the temple.
Shit yourself out of fear? Get it from both sides!
And now we have to attune the book with the Eternal Fire, or something like that. Again, we can visit Margarita before we've done it.
Have you been able to reveal the contents of the book?
Not yet, no.
Start by doing this, then come back to me. You'll understand that I can't go myself with all these fanatics. I'll just hide here and wait for you.
What are you doing?
Nothing special. Move along.
Very well then. What are you doing?
I'm admiring these beautiful flames.
The flame of eternal fire is not to be mocked with impunity. Gods!
Not good. There you go.
Yennefer and I are going to study it. Meet her directly at Skellige when you're ready. We'll certainly had time to analyze its contents by then.
And what's left now is to find the mermaid and the Duke.
I should go and get that pearl now. It's late. I should wait until daylight to search for Sheena's in Agloval.
And just as Yennefer has a day-night cycle, so do Shianaz and Agloval. They are gone at night, and they move around different sections of this area during the day. Thankfully, Shianaz's hair color gives her out immediately.
As far as I remember, Sheena's had celadon colored hair. That should help me recognize her.
Ow! How dare you!
Sheena's. Duke.
Geralt, how have you been since all these years?
That would be too long a story to tell.
What is your visit worth to us?
Let's say I followed the path.
What is your visit worth to us?
I'm here for Essi Daven.
Poor child. I learned what had happened to her.
Yes, she didn't deserve that. She was a gifted girl who knew how to say the right words. And this, as in her ballads, as in the moment, let's say, opportune. I have experienced it.
What happened to her was not really a coincidence. An ancient, powerful, and evil being provoked it.
It's awful.
I didn't know how to give back to Essi the feelings she had for me. But I would at least try to avenge her. For that I need a sky blue pearl identical to the one I gave to Little Eye.
It won't be easy. They are rare. However, I think that with Witcher senses, it should be possible to find some on the coast north of here. But I think that the local sirens won't be as welcoming as my mermaid sisters from Bremerwood.
I'll settle for that. Thanks for your help.
Thank you for your visit, Geralt. I have no doubt that you will succeed.
See you soon. Avenge this poor girl. You would have made such a cute couple.
Now you may be wondering, why the sandwich fuck is she called Gaunter O'Dimm? Well, apparently it's a bug that should already be fixed by the time you're watching this video. I thought that was a hint or something, so I tried casting signs on her and whatnot, but I think it doesn't mean anything. Now I do love the way Shianaz looks. The voice suits her too. One thing that bugs me a little is that this hairstyle clips through her face most of the time. It looks accurate, but perhaps some changes can be made either to the hair or to Shianaz's position in the cutscene, so she doesn't turn her head as much. Agloval, in the meantime, is voiced by the author of the mod. I honestly wish there was a bit more content with these two, but this is all we get. So we fight some sirens.
Ugly bastard.
We find a large shell with a blue pearl inside, and we head back to Margarita, who has forgotten how to pronounce Skellige.
If you're looking for Yen, she's already on her way to Skellige.
And so we return to Yennefer's room, where we find none other than Ciri.
Ciri.
Yennefer told me what you asked her. That's when I remembered Essi Daven's small and beautifully bound volume entitled The Blue Paled. I had read it as a child when I was in training with Yennefer at the Melitil's temple. This book had filled me with emotion, and now I understand why.
I wouldn't want to interrupt you, but know that my research has paid off. My intuition was right. An object linking you to the deceased is indeed useful. As I feared, this should not allow you to destroy this devilish being, but it will help you to send him back where he came from, and this for quite a while. Can you give me one of those pearls? You'll have to put it on your friend's grave. This will summon and weaken the demon. All you will have to do then is use your combined skills in combat.
What do you mean by combined?
I'm coming with you. I did not know Essi Daven, but knowing now what was hidden behind these subtle bollards, I immediately wanted to help you to destroy this devil.
You don't know what you want to measure yourself against.
I've already faced some very powerful creatures.
It's too dangerous. I go there alone.
Out of the question.
Even weakened, it's preferable that you will be two to defeat him.
I don't like it, but I guess I have no choice.
Exactly.
Very well. Are you ready?
I've been ready since the minute I got here.
So let's go.
Come back to me unscathed.
So the ritual is now complete, and we set off for the ending of the quest, but before that, a bit of criticism for the scene we just witnessed. The things Ciri says about Essi Daven are a reference to the blood of elves. In the book, she's still a child, and she spends a good amount of time training, studying, and bonding with Yennefer. I think they removed that on Netflix. But it is at that point where Ciri stumbles upon a small book, a compilation of ballads by a bard named Essi Daven. Ciri doesn't know who Essi is, but she's moved to tears by her book. Meanwhile, we, the readers, know who this is, because the story of the mermaid was in the previous book, The Sword of Destiny. Actually, I don't think there are any other mentions of Essi anywhere in the books after Ciri reads her ballads, and the only thing we learn is that the book was called The Blue Pearl, suggesting that Essi was still holding on to her feelings for Geralt, and the unanswered love for the Witcher is what inspired the sad nature of the ballads. I think there's a word for that, unanswered love? Okay, it's called unrequited love. But anyway, the point is, the mod here makes a fine reference, but it comes across as unsubtle. You know, Geralt walks in, Ciri's suddenly there, and instead of them hugging each other and asking after one another, perhaps referencing the last time they were together and so on, he just says, "Ciri?" And Ciri says, "Yen told me everything. I remember this woman. I read a small, beautiful book as a child. The book was called The Blue Pearl. It made me cry. I was with Yennefer at the time, in the Temple of Melitele," or however the AI butchers the word.
At the Melitil's temple.
It's just heavy-handed, and on top of that, as I said, Ciri here sounds so unnatural and all over the place. And honestly, I actually miss the real voice acting of the previous mod I covered. It's funny that if you look at the comments, half of them are about how terrible the voice acting is, and how bad the accents are, and how they wish AI was used instead. But damn, I don't know. I mean, the voice acting could have been better. The Redanian soldier comes to mind especially.
Money, that's all you witches ever talk about.
And I even questioned the pronunciation of Emilia, but after experiencing an almost fully AI-voiced mod, I find myself craving actual voices. You know, Emilia, now that I mentioned her, may have had a peculiar accent, but she had some memorable moments. Like when she gets really condescending if the Witcher threatens to kill her while he's still in the cage, and she goes, "Oh, sharp sword and stupid muscle won't help you."
Poor thing. Sharp sword and stupid muscles won't help you.
Or when the Witcher asks her if she's scared of him, and she goes, "Huh," but like really high-pitched.
Huh.
It is moments like these that give characters, you know, character. An AI might have said Daisy of the Valleys properly, but otherwise it would have likely been rather dull and less memorable in comparison. Tell me what you think of all this, and let's get back to the story.
Essi rests here. I will put the pearl on her grave.
Yes, let's get it over with. It works.
Stay alert.
But what the...
In the end, it seems that it was me who decided on our next meeting. And it will be the last.
I see you didn't come alone. Shame. I could have had plans for her too. But I have no other choice than kill you both now.
We'll see.
So we're about to fight freaking Gaunter O'Dimm. This whole location seems to be uniquely crafted for the mod, and I like it a lot.
It's just an illusion.
Don't you recognize Bremerwood's coastline?
Not only is the place significant story-wise, but it also looks rather foreign, which is exactly how it's supposed to be given that it's a reference to a place that we've never visited in the games. Now the fight is fairly straightforward. You battle Gaunter O'Dimm and his wraiths while standing within this circle. You take damage if you leave it. Gaunter himself fights quite similarly to Emilia actually from the previous mod, except he doesn't seem so overtuned at high levels. At one point, likely due to a bug, he teleported outside of the circle and effectively killed himself. Apparently he's taking damage from that area too. Not sure if that's intended, but generally I could not find a reliable way to push him out, so it doesn't seem to be easily exploitable, but perhaps some of you will find a way to do it. Eventually we beat him and banish him.
No, it's impossible!
There's actually another weather change back to clear skies as he disappears, which is much more subtle than the storm in the beginning, but I like it just as much.
A good thing done.
Absolutely.
Two different scenarios can play out based on whether you said you remember Essi or not.
Now, Puppet, I hope you rest in peace.
It's certain Geralt. She knows now that she was important to you too. I return to my path. See you soon.
See you soon, Ciri. I hope you rest in peace now, Essi. I will try to dig into my mind to find my memories by your side.
Even if you don't remember her precisely yet, she knows what you just did for her. I return to my path. See you soon.
See you soon, Ciri.
Ciri will always mention returning to her path, even if she became Empress, which still works, I suppose, especially in light of The Witcher 4, but there's more.
Essi, is that you?
Yes, Geralt. Thanks to the magic you've unleashed. But I can feel it fading already.
I'm sorry I didn't share the same feelings as you.
Feelings can't be ordered. I know who your heart belongs to now. Enjoy your life, and be happy with the one you love.
I'm sorry I didn't share the same feelings as you.
Feelings can't be ordered.
But today, I think Gaunter was probably right. It's not impossible that we would have ended up together.
Life is too short to have regrets. Keep me in your heart, like I've kept your sky blue pearl, and enjoy your life.
What happened to you was my fault.
Don't say that. You can't blame yourself. Where I am, I cherish the memories of the times I spent by your side. Farewell, Geralt, and thank you for everything.
Farewell, Essi. I will wait to tell this whole story to Dandelion. He's already affected enough by what happened to Priscilla. I should go back to Toussaint to thank Margarita for her help.
Afterwards, we can thank the 3 sorceresses.
I should also go back to Skellige to reassure Yen about the outcome of all this.
A nice addition is that if we did not romance anyone, we can still try to thank Yen, but in that case, she did not wait for Geralt.
Yen is no longer here. She must have learned that we succeeded, and left Skellige as she planned.
She's already gone by the time we arrive, which is kind of sad, and I like it. But not only can we thank the sorceresses, we can also, with Margarita, it can be done in any case, and it doesn't seem to affect your relationship with Triss or Yennefer. Obviously, I can't show you the actual scenes, but I can give you a brief rundown. Starting with Triss again.
Geralt. You're okay?
A few new scars. Nothing important.
So I guess you managed to avenge your friend.
Yes, she is avenged. And these events remind me the importance of being with the person I love.
Scars, Romans. Stop it or I'll wobble.
I'm sorry, but my head's not really in it. Moreover, it's time for me to return to the path.
Follow the path, but come back to me quickly.
I'll do it. I love you, Triss.
I love you, Geralt.
Well, being at Kaer Morhen with you is still so pleasant. We still haven't tested this new bed.
It'll give me a good reason to come back. It seems to me that it's time to test this new bed.
Here's an interesting idea.
Her scene is basically Yennefer's at Kaer Morhen, but with Triss's model. And afterwards, she will still say that you haven't tested the new bed, but I suppose the bed wasn't used, after all.
We still haven't tested this new bed.
It'll give me a good reason to come back.
Well?
Next up is Yennefer, and just like the rest of the mod, her scene is more extensive.
Geralt. Ciri came by and informed me that you'd managed to defeat this demon and avenging your friend.
It wasn't easy, but we managed, thanks to you. These events remind me of the importance of being with the person I love.
That makes 2 of us. I was really afraid of losing you. When I saw Ciri again, I hugged her as hard as I could. It reminded me that we only have one life. And we have to make the most of it. And do you know what make the most of it means when I'm with you?
Yes, I know, but I'm sorry. My head's not really in it.
Too bad, but I understand. I love you, Geralt.
I love you, Yen.
Sorry, Geralt. I really must pack my things now.
Yes, I know, and I too want you terribly.
It starts on her bed, in this room, but then she gets an idea.
How about a trip out to sea?
Right now, like this.
And we transition into a kind of modified version of Shani's romance scene in Hearts of Stone.
Isn't it romantic?
You mean being naked on the open sea?
But no, you fool. Look how beautiful the moon is over the shore.
Of course, Yennefer will not throw up on you. But overall, it seems like the most inventive and unique out of the three. And finally, we have Margarita. She actually has different responses to your refusal based on whether or not you are in an active romance.
To what do I owe this new visit?
I came to thank you for helping me.
It's me who should be thanking you. I'm eternally grateful to you for saving me from those crazy witch hunters. But perhaps we could thank each other.
I already regret it, but my head's not in it.
I would have liked a different answer, but I understand.
There was a time when I would have accepted with undisguised pleasure. But you know to whom my heart belongs.
I would have liked a different answer, but it's all to your credit. She's a lucky girl.
Such a proposal from such a beautiful woman can only be accepted.
If you agree, the scene takes place inside her house, but it's not actually this house. It seems like a unique location, designed specifically for this, and I found it deep underground here, which is curious. Margarita's actual scene is taken from one of the brothel encounters, and the author told me that originally her romance was intended to be an Easter egg, only available if you go back to her before the ending of the quest without being prompted to do so. But then he thought that few people would think of it, and he decided to make it a little more obvious. Now, my favorite part is that afterwards there's a lovely reference to Philippa Eilhart. Remember how Margarita says that Geralt has slept with all the women on the ship except for herself, Ciri, and Philippa. And Philippa says that it's only a matter of time in Margarita's case.
Do you know what I just realized? Except for the two of us and Ciri, Geralt has slept with every woman on this ship.
Don't worry, it's only a matter of time in your case.
Well, Margarita comments on that after you accept or refuse.
I would have liked a different answer, but I understand. Philippa's clairvoyance isn't what it used to be.
What's that supposed to mean?
Never mind.
Such a proposal from such a beautiful woman can only be accepted.
Philippa told me so.
What's that supposed to mean?
That my turn would come.
And with that, I believe we're done with the mod.
At last. It's over. We must meet again one day.
Do let me know what you think of it. Make sure to try it out yourselves. It was quite apparent that the mod was made with lots of care, and Essi Daven is definitely a character who deserved at least an honorable mention in the game, and now, through this mod, she finally has it. Thanks once again to Lindroll and to anyone else who may have been involved in the creation of these quests. Thanks also to all of you for watching, and especially to my supporters and YouTube members. I am now off to try a couple of other mods which I've wanted to play for a long time, not to mention that I'll have to start working on my 10th anniversary details missed video, but until then, stay tuned and be good.